brine went down and opened it up, let some water come. And this is the way that we can drain the pond. We can drain the lake there in probably 36, 40 hours when she's wide open. You can see it keeps coming a little faster all the time. It takes quite a while to open the valve. It's a fairly big valve and it moves very slowly. This is an introduction to the Four Seasons at White Pine Lodge. I first came into this area about 12 years ago when it was old farmland with a small stream covered with alder bushes and whatnot, and I decided to build a lake, put in a dam, build an island in the center, and off to the left-hand side build another trout pond. And on the bank the following year that I built the lake, I built the lodge, and from there each year I started building more roads and doing reforestation, cleaning out underneath and doing a lot of brushing too. We have about 1,000 acres here now that's under the lodge area, I call it, and another 3,000 outlying areas that we do a lot of reforestation on. Brian looks after the property here around the lodge, Brian West, and these red pine were planted, what, about 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And they're quite a while getting started, come through, but all this rough stuff kind of helps protect them to a certain degree in the wintertime. But again, too much grass will kill them out if they don't, until they get big enough. But these trees now are getting away, and once they get up where they can get lots of sunlight, they'll grow pretty fast. Once the trees get big enough, they'll kill the alders out themselves. But this ground would have been just the same as on the right there if nothing had been done to it. Another 10 years, this is going to be a nice looking piece of hardwood or softwood. They get bent right down with the snow. They will straighten up themselves, most of them pretty good.
We sometimes have problems with rabbits chewing the buds off the tip, which slows the growth of the tree. This is still a good branch here, but this one is ruined, and we get that effect around the edge.
Now, once this bud's gone off the top, Brian, that tree won't grow anymore.
Well, it will from this branch.
From that branch,
yeah,
but if it hadn't been a branch, hadn't been another branch on it, it would have been gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this here will eventually end up being the main leader.
That's right. Yeah.
This one will be gone. That'll be the main leader. Then that'll branch out from there again.
Right, yeah. This is snow damage here.
Yeah, that's the crust on the snow when it settled, broke the branch off. There's quite a bit of that this year because of the heavy crust we had with the early snow there. A place or two that we're going to have to put the odd one in this year. Here we planted red oak, hardwood trees, and this has been 3 years ago we planted. We've had a lot of problem with them. These stakes you see, we cut them on our own property here in Hemsod, and we had tubes down over the tree to protect them, that act like a hothouse. That's the red oak there, I would say, from the year before. Again, a lot of the tops here, they got chewed off either by deer or mice. And of course, another leader takes over. But when it's small, if it's done, it kills the tree. That's one reason we put the tubes on. We thought it might protect them against deer. This is an area we cleared off winter before last. Again, we went through and cut out any birch that was any good, and the odd scattered softwood in it. But most of it was just all scrub and alder bushes. Then last summer we had a dozer come in with big chains and drags behind and it went over and drug all the alder bushes down. The first 2 weeks of August is prime time. You break an alder bush then for the sap goes down to the roots, and they won't grow back, or is apt to grow back. And it usually does pretty good. And this piece came out pretty good. There's 65 acres here. I think there's about 20 to 25 acres in this piece right here. Then off to the left here, there's another area. Then there's about the same size down on the other side of the white birches down there. I think we got, Brian, maybe what, 60, 65 acres here? Roughly to plant it. And it's going to be planted this spring with jack pine and red pine and, red pine and red spruce. Yeah. And we'll probably plant about 65,000 trees on this here. There's a crew from the wood co-op that'll come in and do that. Brian does a lot of the smaller areas. You can see down here on the right, there's an area that it's got pretty good wood on it, hardwood. Then over in the right here, there's some more red pine that was planted again about 10 years ago. And way over in the far hill, there's jack pine over there by that open field that was planted probably 10, 12 years ago. It's coming pretty good. That's out along the main highway. We've got, I would say, roughly 1.5 million trees planted that we've planted in the last 12 years. And most of it on ground that was no good before. The first area we looked at out there where it was so scrubby, we left on the back side of that, out next to the main road. It's been replanted, but we left the section in between there about 200 feet, 300 feet wide between the two plantations just for wildlife to roam in and have some cover. Most of the area is broke up with wood land that's just, we're letting come natural. Here's some 6-year-old Christmas trees that we've started earlier and experimenting with them, same as we do with a lot of the trees that we have planted. The future of these trees, probably after 8-10 years, they will be big enough that we can start cutting them out for Christmas trees. Hopefully they'll be donated to the Boys and Girls Club or the Scouts to help them raise money. And you were making fun of my hat there. The Elroy, actually that name comes from some apartments I have, and it's my mother's name was Ella, and my father's name was Roy, and they were called Elroy. It's April the 15th, 98, and the lake is just opening up. A small trout pond, the ice went out of it this morning. The last little piece was melted, and this lake here will be another 3 or 4 days before, or maybe another week before it's completely gone. The other end is quite heavy yet. Actually, deer walked across it this morning. Come and get it. Here, fishing. This is another area out front where you come in. You can see the red pine in the background. So there's some pheasant pens I built here. Right now I have some ducks. They're farm ducks, tame ducks. They've been clipped. They can't fly away, and I got a couple of other people's here now. I kept for the winter, but they'll be going into the lake down by the lodge in another week or so. They're laying now. In April, they've all started, the pheasants and the ducks, and I got 4 geese here, or swans rather, that we got from Mount A, and I got a license to keep them, and they wanted to get rid of 4 that they had there. They're getting too many, but they're not laying. I was hoping they'd lay a few eggs and I'd put them in the incubator and hatch some, but they'll be going down into the lake shortly, another week or so, as soon as the ice and everything gets gone. And the same with the ducks, and hopefully the ducks will nest and raise some young, but pretty hard to keep the young here with the foxes and whatnot. Then I raise probably 200 to 300 pheasants a year. We collect the eggs here, and I take them up to the house, and Jan has an incubator where she can put in 6 dozen a week, and it holds 3 weeks supply. So every week you have a bunch of chicks coming off, and we hatch about 250 to 300, and I bring them down here and keep them till they get a couple months old. And here's my 2 friends, Bill and Jim, over in the small trout pond. I stocked this pond 2 years ago with some rainbows. There's 2 different sizes in here, the smaller ones, and the other ones are 2-year-old. The larger lake has some Arctic char and quite a few bass in it, along with the normal brook trout. Jim has a rainbow on here now.
He's a beauty. How's that strike? Nice rainbow.
Along this road here is an area we thinned out, and it's growing natural. And it will travel into an area that has a plantation, but throughout the 1,000 acres, there's areas all through that's coming natural. Here's a covered bridge we built below the dam. We cut the lumber on our ground, had a little mill in and sawed it, and it was named the Lou Spinney Bridge after my father-in-law, Mr. Spinney. This is the male swan across the lake, swimming along, very protective, because nearby is his mate and their young. Janice enjoys the gardening and looking after her flowers here. We do have a lot of people come in for wedding pictures during the summer months. hummingbird is one of our favorite birds to watch during the summer. We do have a fruit orchard consisting of 20 fruit trees, different varieties. This is a red pine plantation we planted. Actually, along the road going into the lodge, one of the first trees, and they are starting to come up pretty good now. We do have a fair amount of red spruce, black spruce planted, potted jack pine. Granddaddy style. Nice trip. Quite a bit of snow for the 10th of December. A lot of years we're looking for snow for a white Christmas. Looks like we're going to have lots of it this year. I enjoy driving along these snow-covered roads this time of year, especially a nice sunny day, hoping to see some game. Oh, there goes one. Also looking for tracks where they've crossed or whatever they might be. We travel back through here on these roads, cutting out different overgrown wood areas during the winter months. Each morning there are certain chores that have to be done, more so in the summertime than winter. One thing is keep some corn out from the deer, so myself or guests have the enjoyment of watching these deer. In this area I do have a present shooting preserve, and with that there's a kind of a protected area for the deer where there's no hunting for anybody on this acreage. Therefore, it's kind of a little more deer around than normal. The deer will take corn probably up to the middle of January. At that point, they'll leave the area and go back into thicker cover and feed on moss more so. Then they'll come out in spring again. The odd one is around through the wintertime, but they wouldn't eat corn. I gotta fix the chain here this morning before I go back and start yarding out some of the trees that Brian's been cutting. I have a small little repair shop over here and do most of the work myself in kind of a way or not, and between Brian and I, and any major job we have somebody come in. Nice little site. You must have it pretty hard in the snow now. This is over in the storage area. Eric is here this morning shoveling out the trailer. He's going to be hooking onto it and loading up with some wood to take over to the lodge to restock our pile for possibility of a long winter. I say, yeah, when we're back in, the snow now is built up that you're going to hardly have to lift that to get.
Yeah, that's what I thought. If I dug that down, it would
Turn the hook down.
Yes, lots of room to lift in here.
Both sides of the road is where we took out the old bush and alders and yard hardwood and tramped it down. It gets all ready to be planted in the spring. Brian and I are working back in here now, cutting some old popple out of the area. There's a big one right back in here, right straight up there. Come up there and get that. Yeah, there's a big one right there. Maybe get on the back side. There, you might want it.
Yes. Should tighten the bow.
There, now we're nice and cozy, aren't we, huh?
Oh, yeah. That's the only thing that might sound good on it.
One glove on, one glove off should look.
take one of you? Misty. Yeah, big. Oh, you